welcome back to For the Record. My name's Christian.
My name's Elena.
And we have a lot to talk about, don't we? Before
Yes,
we start
we do.
off, why don't we talk about how have you been? How was your week?
I've been good. My week's fine. It's Monday, so got a lot ahead of me. We have a trip this week.
We do.
So exciting. We're going to go see Adelphi University in
So
Long
exciting.
Island.
So
That's
exciting.
definitely going to be fun. But my last week was also super fun. We had a New Paltz trip, all sorts of stuff.
Great school, amazing school.
It was so nice. And
loved
all
it.
of the equipment that they had and everything, that was really exciting.
The equipment, and I love their theater department. I think the show they're doing is really funny. I liked the different theaters. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see all of them, but we were able to see one, which was the Box Theater. I'm almost positive. It was really nice theater. I really enjoyed it. The campus is beautiful, and it just seems like a really educational school. And like you said, the equipment and the classes, very interesting.
I really liked the fact that they had a podcasting club and a radio club, sort of how we do here, and how they were saying, oh, you don't have to minor or major in media production, but you can still pursue it and still have fun. And they were saying how many students are involved. That was definitely my favorite part of the trip because I visited the school before, but I only had an open house, so I didn't get to see each room individually. This was a full guided tour.
Oh, yeah. No, I agree with you. That was my first time. I was going to say I agree with you, but no, that was my first time there. I do agree with your opinions on it.
Yes.
But that was my first time on the campus, and I think that having such a in-depth tour was really helpful, in helping me decide what I want to do and what my interests are. But yeah, I think it was helpful.
Yeah. So how was your week?
My week's been really good. The Section 1 kickoff was yesterday for track and field, which is a sport I do. But that was a lot of fun. And then other than that, I've just been relaxing, focusing on work. A lot of good things have been happening and hopefully more to come. Christmas is in a couple weeks, holiday break for schools. So that's very exciting.
Yes, it is. Speaking of Christmas, A Nonsense Christmas just came out on Netflix last night. What are your thoughts on that?
So I haven't seen it yet.
Me neither.
But I am very, very excited to see it because let me tell you, I've heard a lot of good things. The people that did watch it, I think that first of all, I think Sabrina Carpenter is an amazing artist.
Oh, yeah.
Let alone, her vocals, she's just amazing. I think she's hilarious. I think that this was perfect for her. I also think that the collabs she decided to do, Chapel Roan, Kali Uchis, and I'm a huge Kali Uchis fan, so obviously I'm a little biased.
Yes.
But I'm saying I'm so excited to see all the collaboration. I saw some of the behind the scenes, the bloopers on Instagram, and I was like, no, this is just so funny. But have you seen it?
I have not seen it either. I know you're excited for Kali Uchis. I'm excited for Chapel Roan because she's definitely been my top 3 recently. But one of my favorite things about Sabrina Carpenter as a whole is her production of how she does things. Whether it's on tour or A Nonsense Christmas, she builds this stage presence that it's it gives 1960s old-fashioned movies. It's not just singing. She puts on a whole entire show.
The rebrand she did was amazing because I feel especially and comparing it to another Disney artist like Olivia Rodrigo, and I know obviously there's some beef there, but I'm saying I just think in general to the way they are both so similar is they both went from Disney having those albums, having those singing for Disney, and then completely rebranding themselves. And rebranding is really hard, really, really hard. And just taking those, and both of them are such huge artists. But again, sorry, focusing on Sabrina, what she did was amazing, and she's one of the biggest artists right now. Especially you said, her and Chapel. This has been pretty much in at least within pop. The pop industry. They've been huge. This has been their year, and I think it's well deserved. I don't like how I've seen people have been oh, industry plants. Actually, they've both been in the industry for a while.
Yeah. So I definitely like all of her sets on her shows, and including A Nonsense Christmas, and the thought that goes behind her outfits and everything.
Oh, yeah.
And that she ties into what the media wants when she's also giving them new stuff and new material. So I definitely do like that a lot. That's really important to me.
But I want to bring up something you said. You said that Chaperone was in your top 3.
Yes.
So one thing I wanted to say, speaking of top 3, let's talk about something else that came this week, came out, that has been rage baiting people for quite a while is Spotify Wrapped. Have you not seen that? people have been like, I've seen multiple TikToks and like Instagram reels of people being like, Spotify, I need my Spotify Wrapped. I'm not gonna make it.
Yeah,
and it was
I don't understand that. Like, do you not know what you already listened to this year? Do you need someone to tell you?
I think that people were really surprised. Like, I was kind of taken aback, but also not really. But I wanted to talk about our Spotify Wraps. So would you like to go first?
All right, I would like to go first. I do not have Spotify.
You don't? Do you have Apple Music?
I have Apple Music, but it's the same exact thing.
Yeah.
They come out with something called Apple Replay.
Can you tell me a little bit about that?
So it's basically the same concept as Spotify. They ask and tell you the same things, like your songs, how many minutes you've listened to, your favorite artists, all of that. But my favorite thing about Apple Replay is that they give you a playlist towards the end of it that is all of your top songs throughout the year. So even if it's not just like your top 3 or your top 5, it's like an entire playlist of like 50 songs that you played a ton over the year. That's my favorite thing, because then it also recaps them each year. So I've had Apple Music since 2020. Okay. I can literally go back and look at my top songs from 2020, which isn't that great, but it's a cool feature in my opinion.
No, I understand. I think it's pretty cool. I think for Spotify Wrapped, the only difference is we have to download them. Yeah. But going in depth, let me start off with, and I don't know how Apple Wrapped does it, but the way Spotify does it is we start off, the first section it shows you is your top song of the year. Can you tell me what your top song of 2024 was?
So it's a little bit different for Apple Music. I can scroll down and see all of these different things. So I will scroll down. My top song was Because I Liked a Boy by Sabrina Carpenter. I really didn't expect it. I knew I liked the song, but I guess I forgot how many times that I listened to it over the year.
I agree.
I have 38 plays of that song. Like, I've played it 38 times.
So my top song of 2024 was Yuck by Charlie XCX from the album Crash. And I loved that song so much. Like, it really I was in the top 0.001% of listeners. And I streamed it. Hold on.
So that might be a problem. Actually.
I streamed it ever since, and I first started listening to it in June. I remember that was the first. I streamed it 587 times in the year.
Christian.
I know that's kind of devious, but
that's a little bit crazy, and I thought 38 was a lot.
All right.
That's insane. I think the reason why that must be is because I'll play albums. I don't really like repeat the same song over and over again.
No, the song was, I'm sorry to cut you off, but like I said, this song, I think I played it like not even joking, like I wish I was kidding. I think I heard it for the first time and like my body just didn't want to listen to anything else. I think I listened to it for 2 days straight. Like when I would play music. Nothing in between. I think it just was on loop.
Oh, okay. So that might just be your favorite song. I'm not quite sure though.
I don't know.
Maybe.
Just maybe.
Possibly. I think it's really cool that Apple Music also shows your top songs in general. So it gives 1 to 5.
I was just about to say, can you list the next thing that even Spotify does? It'll go into the next top 5. Can you tell me your top 5?
So number 1 was Because I Liked a Boy. Number 2 was Must Be Love by Leve.
Oh.
Number 3 was Wildflower by Billie Eilish.
I can't even blame you on that.
No, it's so good.
Such a good song.
It's so good. And I only have 37 plays of that. Like, I feel like more, but 4 is The Greatest by Billie Eilish, and 5 is Promise by Leve. And honest to God, I thought Promise was going to be my number 1 this year. I'm really shocked that it wasn't, but Promise has 36 plays, and Because I Liked a Boy has 38.
I was going to say.
It was close.
I was going to say, I think that even with Apple Music and Spotify, I think one thing they do is they stop counting at some point throughout the year. Because
really? Because how'd you get to 500?
That's what I'm saying. But I'm saying, I think it was more than that. But I'm saying, I thought, like, to use it as an example, and like we'll get there in a second, but even song-wise, like I became a really big fan of Halsey this year. Like I loved her new album, The Great Impersonator. I've been listening to that like album on loop, and some of the songs are just so amazing. And she wasn't even on my Spotify Wrapped. My top 5 songs. Number 1 was Yuck by Charlie XCX. Number 2, Espresso by Sabrina Carpenter. 3, and excuse me, but I think I'm going to mispronounce it, Mi Tengo Que Ir by Karol G and Kali Uchis. 4, Hasta Cuando by Kali Uchis. And 5, I Wish You Roses by Kali Uchis.
Your pronunciation was pretty good. I'm not even going to lie.
Oh, really?
I won't hate on you for that.
Oh, thank you.
You're so very welcome. Those are good songs.
I know, I love.
I'm very So you got 500 plays on Yuck.
Yeah.
How many plays were on those other songs? Was it close to 500 or was it like reasonable?
They did not tell, but I'm almost positive because I went on like I love Kali Uchis so much, and I think Mi Tengo Que Ir, I listened to that song I think over 100, but less than 200 in the year. And thing is, I started listening, and I listened to that in like I think I started listening to that song in like January. So the ones below that, it doesn't tell you; it only tells you your top song. Or like maybe I'm wrong and I can check it. I just haven't seen it yet. But I'm not quite aware. But let's go to the next.
Right.
I don't know about Apple Music, but then we start going into your top artists.
All right, so my top artist has been the same for 3 years. Gotta stay consistent. My top artist is Billie Eilish.
Oh, I love that.
Then it goes to Ariana Grande, Leve, The Beatles, and Sabrina Carpenter.
That's such a good lineup. My top artist, I love that. My top artist was Kali Uchis, and they told us the minutes and my top percent of listener. So Kali Uchis was my top artist. I spent 9,682 minutes with her, and I was in the top 0.005% of listeners worldwide. But my top 5 artists were the look. She was like, my top 5 artists were Kali Uchis, Charlie XCX, Melanie Martinez, Sabrina Carpenter, and Ariana Grande.
Wow, I didn't expect Melanie Martinez to be up there. I didn't know you listened to it
I'm like
that.
so when I was, and I kind of like, this is like more like when I used to hate music as a kid, like when I'm talking about like young, like when I'm like, like 5. But I think hers was the first I ever listened to, and like I'm still like not as big of a fan. Like I still love her, and like I know all the lyrics by heart. And like whenever something comes out, like music wise, I'll be there. Like I'll be there to support, and like I'll obviously love it to death. I'm just not that very like as interested to say, like lack of a better word, interested. Like it's still on there because like I listen to her every now and then. I just think because I've listened to her so much, she's kind of stuck there. Like I think next year, if anything, she'll move down one. Like if anything, she'd be number 5.
That makes sense.
All right. And then do you know how many minutes of music you listened to this year or no?
I do. 40,180 minutes. And I'm a little worried for yours now because
it's actually a lot less than I thought it was, if that makes you feel better.
Oh, really?
I thought mine was going to be over 100. It was not. It was over 100,000. I meant, sorry.
Oh, I was like, wait a minute. This math is not adding up.
And I was going to say, well, you streamed that song 500 to how many times? So no, my minutes listened were 74,849, which is lower than I expected. I thought it was going to be much higher. But no, it's still high. Don't get me wrong. Don't look at me like that.
Mine is only half of yours.
But still, I think it was going to be a lot higher. But no, I'm very happy that Spotify wrapped this out. I'm very excited for the new year, and I'm so excited for the new music that's going to come out. And I've been seeing jokes considering people being like, oh, the drought of 2025 because like so many people have released new albums. Like almost everybody that like to put an example, Tyler the Creator, who's had his head in the ground for like
right.
Even like Sabrina.
Still not Frank Ocean though.
Bro is everywhere.
SZA's supposed to come out by the end of the year.
Did you see the like people have already like even the post she made with like all like covered up. People have already been like, that's this song. And the thing is, I'm like, how do you decipher like part of like one letter? And the thing is, then you'll see it and it's just like, oh.
People are a little bit crazy. I'm so excited. I'm so excited because SOS was my top 2 album of the year. So
I didn't get that. They didn't tell me album.
Oh, they told us albums, and so like huge SZA fan, and I want her to come out. Yeah. Tyler the Creator has been under the ground, just like you said. So many artists came out this year, but I have a feeling that it has to do something with COVID. Like there was definitely
100%.
a long amount of time that people were at home. They weren't producing music and all that stuff. So now it's the perfect time because if you think about it, when you're going to release an album, you want to go on tour directly after.
Yeah.
In the past few years, like that's kind of been an iffy subject. So it makes sense, but it's also overwhelming because there's so much coming out.
All right, but before we continue talking about albums, our next part, we're just going to take a quick break. But whoa, sorry. When we come back, we'll be talking about the Grammys and a little bit about more albums that are thinking about coming out in 2025. We'll be right back. And we're back. And like I said, promise, we're talking about some album, but also a movie that came out recently, double feature.
Yes, Wicked just came out. I have seen it, and you have not.
Which I'm uncultured. Uncultured.
What is wrong with you? Like, it's been 2 weeks.
No, the fact that it's been out so long and I still haven't seen it, like, I'm just prolonging at this point. I don't understand why.
Yeah, no, but you've still seen stuff like on media. On queer media.
I'm really holding space for.
Space with.
Did you see the recent interview before we get in there? I'm in queer media. Like, oh, okay. Like,
yeah, what does that even mean?
Isn't like, but I'm saying like, isn't all media like media is just media.
Inclusive. It's just all media. No, I really don't get that interview. It doesn't make sense.
No, I didn't know what. To be honest, so many people. I was like, queer media is a thing. Like, what is that?
Yeah,
Like,
and then I saw a follow-up interview where Cynthia and Ariana were like, "What was this woman talking about?"
Ariana was like, "I was just trying to be there. I didn't know what I didn't know that was happening.
I didn't know, and they didn't know what was going on either."
Like, no, she literally was like, "I didn't know that was happening. Let alone I didn't know what she was talking about."
Yeah, that interview, it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I understand all the interviews they've had. Like, oh yeah, they're crying, they're emotional, but I mean, it makes sense.
Because the questions they were asking were emotional.
Exactly. Because this is like a huge deal to them. This is their dream. Like,
no,
this
literally,
is a huge role.
I know specifically for Ariana, like obviously you've seen Kristen. I'm sorry, I'm not even gonna pronounce the last name because I'm gonna.
Chenoweth.
Yeah, I always mess it up, and I'm not even gonna try. And people will come for me, bro. Like it's over for me. But I'm saying, like, she's literally been like, obviously you've seen the interviews where she's like, she came into my like dressing room with her Nona and like
thank you for bubble bath and
like
she
Epsom salt or whatever it was, and like. I think it's well deserved. Do I think that I've heard some of the other candidates? Like I think I heard that like Renee Rapp went for it, but like respectfully, like because I've seen.
Doesn't make sense to me.
Well, no, it makes sense to me in the way that like they auditioned, but I think that like it was just deserved. But I also back on topic. But I'm saying like I heard the movie is amazing. I heard that it's doing really well, and I think the casting is perfect. I'm so excited for part 2. Let alone I haven't even seen part 1, but like I'm excited because let alone I'm very happy for the actors, specifically Ariana and Cynthia, because I know this is a big thing for them. And they've made such a friendship where like even in an interview, Ariana, somebody said like, oh, or like maybe it was a red carpet. It was one of the two. And somebody asked Ariana Grande, they were like, oh, like, do you think that you and Cynthia have like foresee like a lifelong friendship? And she was like, yeah, she's stuck with me. Like, sorry.
No, they're definitely interconnected. There's something that has to do with Wicked or Broadway shows in general that when you have a part like that, and especially what the movie took like 3 years to film, you just become interconnected. Like you become one person. So of course they're going to be super emotional with each other because they've seen each other through thick and thin. Like literally, we know Ariana has gone through so much while recording, like behind the scenes, and I'm sure Cynthia has
literally
too.
Releasing music, even like releasing music, and like as she said, like she released. I'm almost positive she said that's her favorite album.
Yeah.
And like I think it was just the most raw, and like being able having to do both, and like I just think that that's really difficult, and that shows a lot of character. I also know, obviously, like, I know she's been through a lot, and, like, I'm just really happy to see, like, that, like, she's, like, in a good place now. Considering that, like, also, like, when she said that, because, like I said, like, even Cynthia's going through this, like, obviously, I think we talked about it, where people have been kind of saying, like, oh, they look, like, malnourished or whatever. But
it's so crazy.
But it's, like, I understand, like, let me put it like this. I do not agree with it. I understand where people are coming from in the sense where it's like, obviously bodies change. Do I think that makes somebody malnourished? No. Like, especially her, because she literally, I think she came out and talked about it. She was like, you guys are saying that like, when I was at my unhealthiest, you're saying that's when I looked my healthiest. Like, how would you know? You're not me.
No, that's so crazy. And with all of the stunts that they've had to do and traveling back and forth from interview to red carpet to interview to recording this to recording her album, all sorts of stuff, like
to acting to like getting on set.
Yes, they're very active.
And it's
people.
like I think everybody on that set was like, I think that like you heard about what happened to Bowen Yang.
No.
He like nothing sorry, let me clarify. Nothing like happened to him. But it's like,
is he okay?
Bowen Yang is like as someone who's like I'm really big into SNL, like I want to be on SNL, but I'm saying like he like is an actor for SNL.
Yes.
And Ariana really wanted him to be in Wicked.
Yes.
So but it's a huge favor because like they need the actors they can get, and like if he was gone for that long, like it'd be like they wouldn't be worried. And I'm pretty sure they said they were filming it in don't come for me, guys. I'm almost positive it was in Europe. And
yes,
it was somewhere in Europe. And in pretty much like Ariana called up the owner, like the creator of SNL, and she was like, guy, like I need you to do me like a huge favor. I need Bowen, like, please, like we can make it work. He flew back and forth like between the weeks of filming both, back and forth each week, and like it's not only mentally but physically draining.
Yeah, no, it was recorded in London. And for all of them to be going back and forth, it's must have been a lot on them. But also, like when you're comparing what happened with the Wizard of Oz and the fact that there was like,
sorry,
hey, and the fact that there was like asbestos and that they had them just on all sorts of terrible things.
Yeah,
recording the Wizard of Oz.
Judy Garland.
It's like, yeah, unfortunately, but Wicked is very different like that than the people who were actors and everything were very different.
I think Wicked is such a good movie. I like getting like so we could wrap up. One thing I'm gonna end up on a little happier, but also kind of a sad note. One thing I will say is for the movie, I've heard it's an amazing movie. So excited to see it. I think that a lot of actors, I think not Ariana and Cynthia, but I heard, you've seen the movie, so obviously have you seen people making jokes about like Nessa Dore? I think that's her name.
Me and Bach.
But not even that. It's also like people just like didn't like the character because they were like, oh, she did like she was dirty, like she was messy, like stuff like that. Like messy, like what she did was messy, like not like she was messy, like she was a pig.
Right.
But like obviously, I saw a TikTok recently, and this is like the actor, she came out and talked about it because people like were making jokes, being like, oh, Dorothy could not come faster with that house. Like I need this queen to come down and crush her.
Oh.
And like people were making jokes about it, and like obviously she thought those were funny, but a lot of people were like making fun of like her disability, and like that's like crossing a line. And so I think that a lot of people, yeah, I agree. I think that a lot of people should just keep their mouth shut. Like if you're gonna be
and that's that. And we'll move on.
And we're gonna end there. But also big thing coming up, guys, the Grammys. So we're gonna talk about Grammy nominations a little bit. What would you like to start off with?
Sure, I would like to start off. So we can start with Record of the Year because, of course, we're for the record. So I will just list them off, and then we can talk about what we think, who's deserving of what, all of that jazz.
I agree.
Number 1 is Now and Then by the Beatles. Mm-hmm. Very interesting, considering there's only one of them left, but we'll get to that.
I was going to say, considering the 3 of them are dead, but
right. But
you worded it a tad better than I did.
But again, they were my top 4 artists, so it's not like I don't love them. Like I love the Beatles, but also
Strawberry Fields Forever.
Interesting.
Sorry, I love that song. Continue.
Oh, I could talk about the Beatles. We can have a whole nother episode on the Beatles. Actually. So number 2 was Texas Hold'em by Beyonce, and you know we gotta be really nice because she's gonna come to us.
Thank you, Beyonce. Thank you, Beyonce.
Thank you so much.
But no, she got 12 nominations this year, which is quite devious, quite outrageous. Not that she doesn't deserve them. Thank you, Beyonce.
But again, I haven't seen her like anywhere on queer media or anything like that.
Like I haven't been holding space with Texas Hold'em.
No, like the song came out. There was that one trend that lasted like a week, and then I never heard anything else.
The video of that little girl dancing like in the puffer coat.
So nothing else came out. So it's like, does it?
Irrelevant.
Maybe not. Number 3 is Espresso by Sabrina Carpenter.
Yeah.
Of course, that makes
sense.
It's
No comment. We all understand why. It's been everywhere.
Number 4 is 360 by Charlie XCX.
That's also been everywhere. I have my prediction. I think I know. I think I will continue before we get there.
Right.
Sorry.
I definitely think with Brat Summer, like 360 makes sense to be at least nominated. Whether or not it wins, I don't know. But to be nominated, it makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
Number 5, we have Birds of a Feather by Billie Eilish. Mm-hmm. I think that's definitely a top contender considering how many Grammys Billie has gotten.
I think top 3, my predictions, but I know you're not finished. I think my predictions for this specific category are between Espresso, Birds of a Feather, and I'm sorry, could you continue? Because I think there's one more that I'm missing.
3. Oh.
Is that it?
Are you going to say Good Luck, Babe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think those are the top 3 contenders. I think I know, like in my heart, obviously, I have my opinion on who I would want to win. I would respectfully, and this no diss towards other artists, love all 3 of them.
Right.
I would love for Billie to win because I do think that even though I saw all 3 of them like everywhere, I think that like just out of all 3 of them, like I think Espresso is like a very good song. I think it's more of like a pop dancey album. Same with Good Luck Babe. I think Good Luck Babe has like a deeper meaning to it, but I think Birds of a Feather has such a deep meaning to it, and it's such a good song. All 3 of them were everywhere, so I think all 3 of them have such a good chance at winning considering the other ones. Like I said, even 360, even though it was Brat Summer, I think she will get a Grammy this year. Charlie XCX will get a Grammy. In my heart, I think that she will. I just not for this category.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I also think that Espresso, Birds of a Feather, and Good Luck Babe are definitely the top 3. If a song didn't win, if any of those songs don't win, and it's something else, I would be extremely surprised. Because considering the rest of the things on this list, I don't feel like they were as popular. Mm-hmm. And again, maybe the factors that they're playing in are what's playing on the radio. If they're going off of that, like when my mom listens to the radio,
I cannot escape Espresso.
Yeah, that and Good Luck Babe play all the time. I don't really hear Birds of a Feather playing too much. But then again, when you think of pop culture, you think of media, what people are actually going out of their way to listen to, then it's like, well, Billie plays into that.
Yeah.
The rest of the things on this list, though, are Not Like Us by Kendrick Lamar and Fortnite by Taylor Swift featuring Post Malone.
I don't think those are top contenders. Unfortunately, like I said, like Taylor Swift is I'm not a huge fan. Sorry, I got to keep it a buck. Swifties don't come after me. But I'm saying just don't really like her. I'm not a huge fan of I'm just not a huge fan. Like, and there's nothing against her.
Of her music or of her?
Of her music.
They'll attack you if you say of her.
Of her music. Like, it's not even because it's just like, I think all her songs sound the same. Like, I'm not about that. I just don't think it's for me.
No, definitely
and like
not.
her, like I'm saying, like of course, like I've seen some things that I think are really funny, but like obviously whatever. But I'm saying next, I would like to move on to album of the year.
Yes, so album of the year, I was very surprised by what I'm seeing. The first one is New Blue Sun by Andre 3000.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know anything about
No, I don't even know what that is. Sorry, I was just gonna pretend to be like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, right. Okay, yeah, moving on. Next we have Cowboy Carter by Beyonce, of course. I don't think it was that popular. I don't think that it deserves to win. I didn't see
a lot about it.
I'm sure it's great, but again...
Considering she has 12 nominations, she has a pretty good chance of winning at least one of them.
Oh, no, definitely the odds are towards her. Short and Sweet by Sabrina Carpenter.
I think that's a top contender.
Makes sense. It did come out relatively late in the year, but it still has gained a lot of influence in that time. So
I agree.
And then Brat by Charlie XCX. Is this the one that you think she will win?
I don't know.
Because album of the year?
Album of the year, I think that it's a contender. I don't think it's top contender. I think it's definitely a contender.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, considering like Short and Sweet and like I know Hit Me Hard and Soft is on there, right, and that the Tortured Poets department is on there, and like I said, I know like popularity, I'm not saying that she's a bad artist, but I'm just saying that I think when it comes down to it, in my humble opinion, and I guess like I do really like Billie Eilish, I think it should be between Sabrina and Billie.
Yeah.
I think it should go to Billie because that album was beautiful. It's not only was it a good album, it was so raw and it was so beautiful. There's so much emotion. Short and Sweet has a lot of emotion on it, but also it also has kind of like pop and like it's like dance and like I understand that. And like even with Brat like also is a very raw album. Like there are some songs where it's like there's so much like being like given away. There's some that are really like pop and like don't get me wrong, but like I think about it all the time, like literally is talking about how she doesn't know if she wants to become a mother or not.
Yeah, Short and Sweet is a little bit unserious, but also that's what makes it so great that it's so unserious. But when it comes to like serious nominations like this, it's like, Billie has a little bit more of that. So of course, number 6 is Hit Me Hard and Soft by Billie Eilish. 7, we have Chappell Roan, The Rise and Fall of a Midwest Princess.
Oh.
I'm a little bit biased. Do I think that she's going to win it? I genuinely don't think she's going to win it.
I will say, though, like, unfortunately, because we are running out of time, but I'm saying, unfortunately, one thing I will say is she'll definitely get a Grammy. I think she deserves Best New Artist.
Yes, I agree with that. Maybe just not the album one. And then the last one, like we said before, is the Tortured Poets Department by Taylor Swift, which I also have not heard anything about.
Yeah. All right, guys. Unfortunately, we did run out of time, but there was a little bit more. Thank you so much for watching. This is For the Record. My name is Christian.
And my name's Elena.
And we will see you guys soon. Thank you so much for watching.
Bye.
Goodbye.